Okay, so let's unpack this. When you think about Afghanistan, what usually pops into your head, probably, rugged mountains, a strategic spot on the map, maybe a really complex history.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what if I told you that underneath all that, the mountains, the deserts, the valleys, there's something?
Yeah.
Wow, something pretty astonishing, something hidden for decades.
And what's fascinating here really is the global significance of what's hidden. We're not just talking about, everyday minerals.
Right.
A lot of these are critical. Rare earth elements, strategic minerals, stuff that's absolutely vital for our modern world.
Like what specifically?
Think about, say, your electric car or your smartphone, even advanced defense technology, renewable energy, wind turbines, solar panels. They all lean heavily on materials like lithium, cobalt, copper, things found there. And the numbers, the United States Geological Survey, the USGS, and the former Afghan Ministry of Mines, they estimated this untapped wealth could be over, get this, $1 trillion.
$1 trillion. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, some experts have even called Afghanistan the Saudi Arabia of lithium. Just gives you a sense of the potential scale, especially for the green energy shift.
That comparison alone is kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So, okay, what does this actually mean? For you listening, and, for the rest of the world. Our mission for this deep dive really is to quickly understand what Afghanistan truly has underground, why it matters so much, and, the tough realities keeping it buried. Looking at our source material, it really paints this picture of natural wealth that's way more diverse, more extensive than most people probably imagine.
Definitely.
We're talking huge reserves of base metals. Copper, for instance, essential for wiring, construction, iron, or the absolute backbone of steel. Then you've got lead and zinc, also crucial for manufacturing, infrastructure, and of course the things Afghanistan is famous for, those precious gemstones.
Right, the emeralds, the lapis lazuli.
Exactly, the vibrant lapis, those deep red rubies. It's like a geological jackpot down there.
It really is. And connecting that to the bigger picture, it's those strategic and rare earth elements that really jump out for today's industries.
Beyond the lithium you mentioned.
Oh, yeah. Beyond the really impressive lithium reserves, our sources talk about significant deposits of cobalt key for high-performance batteries, magnetite, a major iron source.
Right.
Actually, something like over 35 significant elements have been identified across the country. It spans categories from industrial minerals, even potential energy sources like natural gas, oil, coal.
So a huge range.
A huge range. There's even talk of uranium potential, which, adds another whole layer of global interest. It's not just a sprinkle of resources. It's basically a periodic table of opportunity for industries everywhere.
It's just a staggering amount of potential wealth under the ground. But here's the thing that makes it so compelling and honestly kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The contrast. Despite all this natural endowment, Afghanistan is still consistently ranked among the world's poorest countries. And what our sources point to directly is this combination of really deep-seated challenges. Yes. Years and years of conflict have just ravaged the country, right? Making any large-scale development almost impossible.
Constant disruption.
Exactly. Then there's a severe lack of modern infrastructure. You need roads, railways, power grids for this kind of extraction and transport. They just aren't there on the scale needed.
Absolutely fundamental pieces missing.
And you add to that weak governance, the influence of external interference, you start to see why this incredible treasure is still pretty much locked away.
Which really brings up a big question, doesn't it? And it's a big if, this incredible wealth could actually be harnessed properly. What could that future look like? Could these resources genuinely transform the nation, change its place in the global economy?
Right.
The sources frame this as a massive, untapped opportunity. They suggest that, you could get the right mixed, solid, transparent policies, modern, efficient extraction methods, genuine international cooperation.
A lot of ifs.
A lot of ifs, absolutely. But if you could, this natural wealth could maybe build a foundation for Afghanistan's economic independence, for real, long-term prosperity. Imagine the jobs, the self-reliance.
The powerful vision. This deep dive into Afghanistan's hidden minerals really makes you think, doesn't it? About how geology, economics, geopolitics all just tangle together.
It's incredibly complex.
Yeah. It's a potent reminder that sometimes the biggest stories are hidden right beneath our feet, challenging what we think we know. How these buried treasures, if managed right, could reshape a country, reshape global markets. It's definitely something to mull over.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something our sources frame as, well, a massive opportunity, but also a real tightrope walk. Afghanistan's natural resources.
Huge potential.
Yeah, exactly. Can this incredible underground wealth actually be used to rebuild and stabilize the nation, or could it trigger that infamous resource curse? That's what we're exploring.
It's a fascinating question. Our sources really dive into how, if managed strategically, this wealth could genuinely shift Afghanistan away from dependence.
Towards real economic independence, maybe a better quality of life?
That's the hope laid out, yes, a fundamental change.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The first big idea from the sources is using minerals, using energy to cut down that heavy reliance on foreign aid, on agriculture.
Right.
How specifically do they suggest turning, rocks and reserves into actual government income?
Well, the analysis goes beyond just flat royalties and taxes. There's talk of more dynamic approaches.
Like what?
Like progressive taxation. Something tied to, say, global commodity prices. Think Chile, for example.
Ah, okay. So Afghanistan gets a bigger slice when prices are high.
Exactly. Yeah. Not just locked into low fees. And this money, it's not just for the general budget.
It's earmarked.
Explicitly. For critical infrastructure. We're talking roads connecting remote areas, new hospitals, schools that function well, power grids, things that really build a foundation.
And jobs, too, presumably?
Oh, absolutely. Thousands.
Yeah.
Direct jobs in mining, sure, but also transport, logistics, processing, ripple effects.
Which means you need skilled people.
Precisely. So a big push for vocational training becomes essential. Geology, engineering, technical skills, building that Afghan expertise.
Okay, but let's talk risks. This resource curse thing hangs heavy in the source material. How does a nation actually avoid that trap?
Yeah, the paradox where resource wealth sometimes leads to less stability, less development. It's a huge concern.
So what are the safeguards?
The sources stress really three core things. First, the environment. Strict rules. You can't just tear up the land and pollute the water.
Sustainable practices right from the start.
Yes. Second, governance. Needs to be transparent. Clear laws for licenses, how money flows, independent oversight. Basically, reduce the opportunities for corruption.
Because that's where wealth can just vanish.
It absolutely can. And third, community rights. Fair compensation for land, real consultation, making sure local people see tangible benefits, not just disruption.
That avoids grievances turning into conflict, maybe.
That's the idea, preventing those local flare-ups.
So you've got the internal stuff sorted, ideally. What about the outside world? Global engagement. You can't really do this alone, can you?
No, not on this scale. Attracting international investment is key. But, and this is crucial in the readings, it has to be fair investment.
Meaning?
Stable mining laws, better security, yes, but also deals that benefit Afghanistan long-term, not just quick extraction profits for foreign companies.
And there's this idea of value addition. What's that about?
Yeah, that's really important. Instead of just shipping out raw bauxite or iron, you process it in Afghanistan.
Smelting, refining, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Turn bauxite into aluminum locally. Keep more of the complex, higher profit steps inside the country.
Creates more sophisticated jobs. Uses the minerals domestically.
Yes. For local manufacturing, construction. Think made in Afghanistan, using Afghan resources. Reduces imports. Builds a real industrial base.
It feels like this goes beyond just the economy then. Our sources hint at something deeper.
I think so. One of the most powerful points raised is how sharing the benefits, sharing them equitably, could actually help build national unity.
How so?
Well, if the wealth doesn't just stay in Kabul, if it's decentralized somehow, maybe provincial funds, direct local investments.
It reduces those regional inequalities.
Potentially, yes. It could lessen the feeling that some regions are neglected, reduce reasons for conflict, and maybe foster a sense of collective ownership. Nation building almost.
So wrapping this up for you, our listener, Afghanistan's mineral wealth. It's clearly a monumental opportunity according to our sources, but it's absolutely hanging on getting the strategy, the ethics, the development right.
Yeah, the path forward seems to lie in building strong, trustworthy institutions, really investing in people, protecting the environment fiercely, and making sure international partnerships are truly fair.
It's an incredibly complex picture, isn't it? Transforming this hidden wealth into lasting prosperity involves resources, policy, and critically, the Afghan people themselves. What will it genuinely take for those benefits to reach everyone and build a sustainable future? Something important for you to mull over. Thanks for diving deep with us.
And what's fascinating here is just how diverse and really how significant these untapped resources are. Our mission for you, looking at the geological studies and expert assessments, is to sort of uncover what's actually there, its immense value, and, why it matters globally.
Right. So our mission, pull out the most important nuggets about what's there, its potential value, and what it could mean for the world. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Our sources suggest a potential Saudi Arabia of lithium. We're talking estimates around, 1.4 million tons of lithium,
right,
primarily found in central provinces like Ghazni. It's a staggering amount. But how truly impactful is that comparison for a nation like Afghanistan, really, given all the complexities?
That's a powerful question. If we connect this to the bigger picture, global demand for electric vehicles, for batteries, it's absolutely soaring. So this reserve isn't just valued at billions of dollars. It could, theoretically, offer unprecedented geopolitical leverage. This isn't just about batteries. It's about potentially reshaping global supply chains for a mineral that is absolutely essential, for modern electronics, EVs, energy storage systems.
Yeah, essential stuff. And beyond lithium, the country also holds critical rare earth elements, the kind vital for everything from smartphone screens to advanced military tech. These include elements like neodymium, crucial for powerful magnets found in places like Badakhshan.
That's right. And geological studies estimate tens of thousands of tons of rare earth oxides. Now, to clarify, these rare earth elements, they aren't actually that rare in the Earth's crust, but they're incredibly difficult to extract and process. Getting them into usable forms like these oxides for high-tech manufacturing, it raises a really important question. Who controls these critical components for wind turbines, hybrid vehicles, defense systems worldwide?
Good point. And it's not just the high-tech stuff either. We're also talking foundational resources. Things like over 2 million tons of copper ore in provinces like Logar, essential for the very backbone of modern electrification infrastructure worldwide. And hundreds of millions of tons of iron ore, the bedrock of the steel industry. Just huge quantities. And, for a touch of natural beauty, there's gold, several thousand kilograms identified in places like Nuristan, plus those precious gemstones. Think the world-famous lapis lazuli from Badakhshan, right? Emeralds noted in Panjshir Valley, and rubies, sapphires.
Exactly. And these aren't just beautiful stones. Their high demand worldwide makes them incredibly valuable. They support local artisanal mining communities too, and offer significant export potential. It's a centuries-old trade for some of these gems.
Okay, rounding out this incredible list, there are also significant energy resources. We're talking an estimated 1.9 trillion cubic feet of natural gas, promising crude oil reserves too, large deposits of coal. There are even suspected uranium deposits in some northeastern areas, plus, common industrial minerals like marble and gypsum.
Of course. Discovering these vast resources is one thing. The far more complex question is how a country like Afghanistan could ever actually unlock them. Our sources really highlight that despite this immense wealth, factors like a near absence of modern infrastructure, roads, power grids, reliable water, that, coupled with ongoing political instability and a severe lack of technical expertise, have largely kept these resources literally buried, inaccessible for large-scale extraction.
Yeah, that's the reality check. But the flip side is the opportunity, isn't it? Many international investors, governments, they've shown interest, pointing to potential partnerships. The discussions often seem to revolve around value addition, meaning they wouldn't just export raw ore, but process it within Afghanistan. That could create more jobs and wealth locally. It's a massive if, obviously, but the potential is clear. So what does this all mean when you boil it down? You've got a country with just an astonishing array of natural resources, everything from the building blocks of modern industry to the absolutely critical components of future technology. It's a profound paradox.
It really is. This immense, largely untapped mineral wealth presents a profound question for the future. How, or maybe even if, these resources might one day shape the country's trajectory and significantly influence global supply chains, especially given those immense challenges we just talked about.
Definitely something for you to consider as you go about your day. A truly thought-provoking deep dive.
Welcome back to our deep dive. Today we're asking, a really big question. How does a country loaded with natural resources actually use them to build a better future? Because we see this huge potential, right, for development, for prosperity, but then there's this shadow hanging over it, the the history of the resource curse.
Yeah, that's the tension exactly, where riches can somehow lead to, well, exploitation, sometimes instability, even corruption.
So what are we diving into today?
Okay, so our mission here is really to unpack the essential strategies. How can a nation, and our sources often point to Afghanistan as a case study, how can it manage its resources ethically, sustainably?
Right.
And this isn't just, about extraction rates. It goes deeper.
Deeper how?
It's about building real transparency. It's about equity, making sure everyone benefits, sustainability for the long haul, environmentally too. And then there's international cooperation, but cooperation based on genuine mutual respect.
Okay, so moving beyond just like digging raw materials out and selling them off.
Precisely.
The sources must have some key ideas on this. You mentioned transparency first, like clear laws.
Yeah, absolutely foundational. Establishing transparent legal and regulatory frameworks is step one. But the real challenge isn't just writing laws down.
But making them stick, I guess, making them real.
Exactly. It's about building a system that's so open, corruption finds it really hard to even get started.
How do you do that?
Think about, say, a public registry online. Every mining contract, who owns what, where the money is flowing, all visible.
Wow. Okay.
It's like a proactive defense. It helps attract investors who actually want to play by the rules, and it protects the country's interests.
And you need someone watching over it all.
Definitely. Independent bodies are crucial here for everything from checking licenses to monitoring environmental rules and tracking the financials, keeping everyone accountable.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Transparent laws, strong enforcement.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned the environment and the people living there. That feels like the next big piece.
It is. It absolutely is. Strategy 2, enforcing environmental and social safeguards.
So protecting people and nature alongside development.
Yes, and the insight here is critical. It's not an optional extra. It's like a prerequisite for any long-term success.
So what does that look like on the ground?
Well, mandatory environmental impact assessments, EIAs, before a single shovel hits the ground. And ongoing monitoring. Companies have to be responsible for rehabilitating the land afterwards. Strict controls on water use, especially vital in, drier regions.
And what about the local communities?
Crucial point. Community benefit agreements. These ensure companies directly contribute to local development schools, clinics, infrastructure. It builds trust, shared prosperity.
Got it. So it's not just taking, it's giving back, rebuilding trust. Now, these big projects often involve foreign companies, foreign governments.
Almost always, yes.
Which brings us to strategy 3, ethical and fair international partnerships. What does fair actually mean here? It sounds tricky.
It can be. Fair means fundamentally negotiating contracts where the nation gets a significant equitable share of the profits. We have to avoid those historical traps of really uneven deals.
No more exploitation, basically.
Right. And crucially, no secret deals. All international agreements, reviewed by Parliament, published online, totally open to public scrutiny.
Transparency again.
Always. And it connects to national resource sovereignty. The nation's interests have to come first. No single foreign power should get undue control or influence.
Makes sense.
Partnering with reputable groups helps too, like the World Bank or specific UN initiatives. They can bolster good governance practices.
Okay, so fair deals, national control. But you said earlier it's not just about exporting raw stuff.
No, absolutely not. That leads us to the next strategy, developing local processing and manufacturing.
Adding value locally.
Exactly. The real missed opportunity if you only export raw materials isn't just lost money. It's that you stay economically dependent.
Right, you're just a supplier.
The insight is that processing locally, building refineries, smelters, promoting smaller businesses, doing things like gemstone cutting or marble polishing, it doesn't just create jobs. It fundamentally shifts the nation's place in the global economy.
From supplier to industrial play.
Something like that, yes. It increases revenue hugely and creates those skilled jobs we need.
Which brings us neatly to the workforce. You can't run refineries without skilled people.
Precisely. Strategy 5, investing in human capital. Education, training.
How vital is this?
It underpins everything else, really. Without a capable workforce, none of these strategies can truly succeed long term.
So practical steps.
Setting up technical training centers for geologists, engineers, machine operators, boosting relevant university programs. And here's another key link. Requiring foreign companies as part of their deals to train local staff and transfer technology.
Building local capacity directly through the partnerships.
Yes, empowering people to manage their own wealth.
Okay, we've covered laws, environment, partnerships, local industry, education. What's left? The sources mentioned conflict.
Yes. 2 final crucial strategies, especially in fragile contexts. First, preventing resource-driven conflict.
Because the wealth itself can fuel fighting.
Tragically, yes. So practical steps include demilitarizing mining regions, making sure warlords or militias don't control these valuable assets.
Right.
And implementing fair revenue sharing between regions or provinces. That reduces internal tension.
Spreading the benefits.
Exactly. And joining international schemes like the Kimberley process for diamond certification that ensures resources aren't funding conflict, that reassures buyers.
Okay, and the very last piece, collaboration.
Yes, fostering regional and global collaboration. Using resources as a tool for diplomacy, not conflict. Joining trade agreements, maybe even creating a brand Afghanistan, for example, known for responsibly sourced minerals.
Building trust through trade.
Building trust, stability, shared economic interests. It all ties together. So ultimately, a nation like Afghanistan, or really any country rich in resources, finds itself at this profound crossroads.
A big choice.
A huge choice. Do you fall into the resource curse, the cycle of instability, exploitation, maybe environmental damage? Or do you forge a different path?
A path based on
Transparency, on national ownership, ethical governance, and genuine long-term sustainability.
So let's leave our listeners with this.
Yeah.
Think about how this comprehensive approach we've discussed, from the transparent laws right through to building local skills and global partnerships, how could that serve as a kind of blueprint?
Mm-hmm. For any resource-rich nation.
Yeah, any nation trying to turn that natural wealth into something solid, a foundation for peace, for prosperity, for national dignity. What core principles from this deep dive really stand out for you when thinking about navigating these complex global challenges, whether it's resources or, frankly, other big issues nations face today? Something to consider.